We have a range of really important issues that Mark began to mention that we're going to be focused on. We're meeting here at almost exactly the 100-day mark of the Biden presidency. And what we have seen so far in the Biden presidency is even farther left policies than we could have anticipated, and certainly than he campaigned on. And when you go down the list of what we've watched happen, particularly, as Mark mentioned, in the national security arena, we know that our adversaries are testing us. We know that they will test us. They test every new president. And they want to see what the responses are going to be. And so far, the responses that we've seen, whether you're talking about the Biden administration response on Russia, the Biden administration policy towards Iran, their lack of a real policy at this point towards China, the world is testing us, and the president and the administration have demonstrated an inability to really understand and recognize how important it is to demonstrate strength, how important it is to make sure that we can, in fact, deter our adversaries, that we can, in fact, make sure our allies can count on us. And it's very important. It gives us in Congress a much more important and enlarged role in terms of standing up, letting the rest of the world understand that we, in fact, are going to ensure that we defend ourselves, that we defend our allies. We're watching this happen and unfold now with respect to the defense budget. The budget is not where it needs to be. It does not have the kind of growth that it needs to have. There was also a report that came out just a month ago that was commissioned by the last National Defense Authorization Act, two acts ago in 2019, the National Security Commission on Artificial Intelligence. That report is going to be a significant part of our China discussions later this afternoon. And it's a report I commend to every American. It's long, but it is absolutely worth looking at to understand what the Chinese are doing in artificial intelligence and the threat that it poses to us, the threat that it poses to us across the board, whether you're talking about from the perspective of the military, in our everyday lives, their ability to essentially vacuum up data, their ability to use artificial intelligence to impose their surveillance state globally. That's something that we as Republicans are absolutely dedicated to fighting against. So we are looking forward to a series of substantive policy discussions. We know that as Republicans, we've got to make sure that we can stop the policies that are coming out of the Biden administration. That's going to require that we take back the House in 2 years or in a year and a half, which we're very well positioned to do. It's also going to require that we win the White House in 2024, which we also are going to be very well positioned to do, again, given how far to the left the Biden administration is moving. And let me just say one more word before I turn over to some of my colleagues. One of the issues on which many Americans are very focused and very concerned is what's happening at our border. And when you look at the humanitarian crisis, when you look at the children who are coming across the border who are being trafficked, the young girls who are coming across the border who've been raped, the extent to which the cartels, in too many instances, are actually at this moment controlling America's border. And let me say that again, the cartels are controlling America's southern border in too many places. And that is absolutely unacceptable. That's a result of Biden administration policies, and it's something that can't continue. In order for us to be secure as a nation, in order for us to make sure we can defend our people and our prosperity and our policies, we've got to secure that border. And the Biden administration can no longer ignore the problem. It's really shameful that they've named the vice president to be in charge of the border. She's denied she's in charge of the border, and now she hasn't visited the border. So they need to figure out how they're going to protect the American people, and that needs to start with undoing some of the policies they've put in place at the very beginning of their administration. That's another set of issues we'll be focused on. I'm joined today by members of our House Republican leadership, some members you don't normally see at our stakeouts. We're going to be spreading our stakeouts out over the course of the conference. And this morning, I've got joining me our vice chair of the conference, Mike Johnson from Louisiana, Secretary of the conference, Richard Hudson from North Carolina, and our Chief Deputy Whip, Drew Ferguson from Georgia.